follow your dreams, don't follow the money. The money's coming. One day I was talking to my father. I have the most amazing wife in the world. He said, okay, if you say so. Okay, tell me why do you think that your wife is the best wife in the world? And I picked my phone. Hey honey, what's up? Our friend Solomon, he just invited us for an amazing new project on the South Pole. My wife is pregnant in the fifth month. He's like, baby, can you hear me? He's like, yeah, I'm here. Okay, I pack everything, we go. And my dad is like, what? And you know the most important part of this story? In many cases, many people are born with their purpose. They just know it. So if you see that your people are not loyal, this means that there is something wrong with you. The most profitable villas are the cheapest ones.
If you give a rough number for people listening to us, so the plot is like 50,000 for example, and building a reasonable villa on it, how much is it going to cost?
What is important for ourselves, again, is to understand ourselves, our needs.
Kalojan is a friend and also known as Kalo. Not just a successful entrepreneur, he's a visionary whose journey embodies the harmonious blend of business, adventure, and profound commitment to living a fulfilling life. Like, I'm gonna buy a villa, now I bought it. And what do you mean by return of investment?
Well, there are two types of people. Let's say about...
Welcome back, Alpha Squad, to a new inspiring episode of the Alpha Talks show, the number one fastest growing show in the region. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce our Alpha guest, Kalojan. He's a friend and also known as Kalo. Kalo is not just a successful entrepreneur, he's a visionary whose journey embodies the harmonious blend of business, adventure, and profound commitment to living a fulfilling life. From his early days growing up in Bulgaria to venturing into diverse industries across continents, Kalo's stories is a testament to perseverance, strategic thinking, and relentless pursuit of happiness. As the founding partner of K-Pharm Global and Calibra, a fintech company, and the creative mind behind ventures like Nest Boutique Resort and Ankaya Village in Zanzibar, where we will dig deep in it, Kalo has seamlessly integrated entrepreneurial prowess with a vibrant lifestyle that celebrates well-being, family, and genuine connections. Join me as we unravel Kalo's remarkable journey, exploring the lessons learned, the challenges overcome, and the insights that have shaped his path to success. So get ready for an engaging conversation filled with valuable wisdom and inspiration. Welcome, Kalo, to the Alpha Talks show.
Thank you, Seif, for inviting me.
It's a pleasure having you today, man. We had a lovely conversation before the show, and I'm sure now we'll have this conversation kind of repeated in a structured way so the people can get the nuggets out of our conversation.
I would say with people around me like this, like you, I feel really comfortable and like home in Dubai every time I come.
I appreciate it. Kalo, the first thing that I ask all the Alpha guests that I have is people will see the podcast or the episode when we publish it. They will see the graphics, they will see the title, and they will think it's interesting. What can you promise them that they will gain if they gave us their time today?
Well, you know, I would actually try to share my story and the way I've been actually developing my life with the time. And I believe that could be really interesting for people. I never give advices, you know, because lives of everybody is different. But what I would say is that everybody, from conversations like this, you can have your takeaway. And then this could really help you. In my particular case, I believe that I can share about the way and the steps I did with the time so that I can go to, you know, full realization of my happiness. And, you know, I have this, even for myself, I have something that I call the 7 components of happiness of Kalo.
Of course.
And I do a dissection for my happiness and how it works. And this we can actually discuss about this and see how we can go and reach there.
Kalo, you know, when I was doing my research to prep for the episode, one of the most interesting things that I found about you, you were extremely diversified, did a lot of businesses. And, you know, when you speak to people doing a lot of business, sometimes it's small businesses. You did big things, big businesses, like the aviation where we'll talk about. It's not a small type of business that comes to people's head, but your journey was extremely interesting, and I want to touch upon it before we dig deep into what you're doing now. So if we start off, what's your background? Where do you come from?
Well,
In a nutshell.
yes. Well, I grew up in a country in Bulgaria, which is a former communist country. So when I started in the very beginning, it was, a country where I didn't have a clue about business.
Sorry,
There was
Kalo.
nothing about
Sorry,
that by
Kalo.
then.
People would like to look at your eyes. Your hand is covering your
Okay,
eye. Yeah.
sure.
Tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a former communist country, so we didn't have a clue about business. And everything about business I've been learning from, guess what, American movies.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of American movies about business, and this is how I learned what is invoice, for example. What does that stand for? I mean, we didn't have a clue by that time. It was very, very different times. But with the time, I was really curious. So my first business I started as a teenager. I was very young by that time, and I zero culture in this respect, but it was very successful just because I have some feeling about business, and my feeling is coming out of love. What is very essential for me, and this is what I'm usually saying to my girl, is that we shall do things out of love, not out of fear. Because I believe we always do out of love or out of fear. And the worst thing is that usually, statistically, most of the decisions we do in life is out of fear.
True.
So what I'm trying to do is act out of love always. Because, sometimes we think about what we shall say to our kids. And because life is changing so fast, you don't know really technically what to say, mathematics or what. You don't know where things are heading.
Yeah.
But the most important is do things out of love, not out of fear.
Oof, true. But Kalo, you started super early. You started with, I would say, a risk-taking mentality and a huge self-confidence that I believe was embedded in you through your family, through your mother. And this was the driver for you to take all these, I would say, strong decisions to carry on businesses?
Well, when we're talking about doing things out of love, not out of fear, it's exactly about self-confidence. Because when you say do it out of love, the most important is being brave and analytical. This is actually my formula, being brave and analytical. Because brave people, there are a lot of brave people, but they end up in the wall, usually with the head in the wall, just because they're too brave, but they're not careful. If you're very analytical on the other side, you see a lot of different aspects of risks and whatever. And these people, usually they don't take any risk and they do nothing. But if you combine these two features, being brave and analytical at the same time, then you're doing a lot and you have a very big chance for success. However, being brave, especially, and analytical at the same time, and go and do things, you have to believe in yourself. You have to be self-confident. This is exactly what you're raising. I've been asked several different times about, okay, Kalo, you say I have to believe in myself. I have to be self-confident. But what if I'm not? So how do I get self-confident? Because it's not easy.
True.
And then, I've been thinking about this with the time. And I think that the formula is like what happened in my life is that I got this self-confidence because of the volleyball. I've been in the national team of Bulgaria for volleyball, and I've been doing quite well. And with this sports, because I was just gifted by that time, I build the self-confidence. And then once you build the self-confidence in something, which is not even related to money in this case, then you just know how to transfer it to another topic, another domain or whatever. So what I would recommend to anybody who is listening to us, if you want to gain this self-confidence, just focus on something that you're good at, that you're really good at. Doesn't matter if it's related to money, maybe playing a piano or maybe something else. Once you get really good at this, then you're going to believe in yourself. You're going to see the admiration in the eyes of the others. You will know what success means. Once you know this, then you have the formula. You can just replicate it.
True. A lot of people ask me also about the self-confidence. I even say the same, but I add to it, add or rack wins during your day. Like, put small goals to you, get it. Because self-confidence is a status. Like, you need to reach it. It's not something you are embedded. As you said in sports, you're a volleyball professional, national team. I was in a Kung Fu national team. So we build it through, and you see the results and your confidence go on. So you need to do actions to build confidence.
Exactly.
I want to go towards one of your, I don't want to say the risk-taking things, but big projects. And I want you to tell people, how did you snap this idea? How you made it a reality?
Well,
airline, aviation. Kalo, that's not a small business.
Yeah.
You found an opportunity, you listened to someone, got the opportunity, you worked on it and you made it happen actually.
Yeah, in the very beginning of this venture, it was actually just a conversation with a friend of mine on one, sometimes things just happen by accident. You are training yourself, you're educating yourself, being self-confident, being strong, believing in yourself, etc. But things are just coming whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, usually something knocking on the door,
True.
you're already like a perfect tool for doing something, and things are coming. In this case, that was one birthday for a friend of mine in British Airways. He's working for British Airways for a long time. And then he told me during this birthday, hey, Kalo, there is a big concept coming now in the world. I said, what is it? He said, it's the low-cost air carriers. I said, what is this? That was the very beginning. I didn't have a clue about that. What is like Fly Dubai now, for example, and other companies like this around the world. And he told me, you know what? These guys are going to kick ass. They started in the US with Southwest and several other companies, and these were the flagmans, and then other companies around the world. And I see they're developing crazy. So British Airways is going to have troubles because he's this guy working for British Airways. I said, why? He said they're so much cheaper just because they are making the process so much more efficient in all respects that they go a lot cheaper. And I said, what do you mean? Let's say, for example, the flight ticket from London to Barcelona is like £700 or something by that time. It was quite expensive, by the way. And they do significantly cheaper. And I said, what do you mean, like 500? No, he said like 50. They go cheaper than the buses. I said, really? How's that possible? And he started explaining to me the story. Then I got very, very, very impressed by this story. Then I came back home and I started thinking about this and drilling it deeper into this. And I said to myself, but this is so great that we can do it just in here, in our area. So I started drilling into this, and it's a longer story after that, because now, for all of the companies that I'm doing, usually the first thing that I normally do is the team. It's all about the team. Once you have a good team, and collecting people, putting people together is, I would say, the most essential thing for success or for loss of your business. This is the same now in Zanzibar and everywhere else I go. It's the first few people that you put in the team. They define whether your project is going to be successful or not. And this is again the same that I do. Put up the team together. But to put the team together, the first thing to do is the plan.
True.
So what we do, this is like a strategy for me and my family. We are not dreaming. We have dreams, and the dreams are turning into plans immediately. The moment we dream it, we immediately make a plan. The moment we make the plan, we go for the team, because for the team, you need the plan. The team is going after you as a leader and after your plan. The team is not going to go before this. So you got to have yourself, and you got to be already strong and developed individual. And at the same time, you got to have the plan. Then you get the team. Once you have yourself as a strong individual, and then you have the plan, and then you have the team, the next thing is following, the money. The money, you can raise money. Imagine that you have a great individual, great team, and a brilliant business plan. There is a great chance that you're going to raise money. There is a lot of money around the world. So this is the way that I'm doing every time. So every business is more or less doing the same steps.
The thing here that I want to highlight, it shows that your character is what I call resourceful, because you're embarking on such project. 99% of people will say, oh shit, an airline that requires a lot of money, it's a big thing, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But you turned it into a plan. You put a team behind, you raised funds.
Yeah.
So you went through the whole process because you're resourceful.
Yeah.
It was a great one. What happened in Zanzibar? I want to move to a little bit of real estate. What happened to all this? But by the way, just to get the thing short, Kalo worked starting taxi driver. Okay, just to get the backstory. Taxi driver, worked in software company, built his software company, had a cafe, an aviation, and he got bored and decided to move to Zanzibar. So how Zanzibar happened?
Yeah, thanks for this introduction. Actually, I did so many things in my life that sometimes when I am telling the stories, people think I'm not 40, but I'm probably 100 years old or something. I've been very active because, I like traveling. I've been like to over 140, 50 countries with my family. We're always together. We never separate. So very short periods of time is possible, but normally we always stay together. By the way, family to me is like something that really matters a lot. So I can give you a very short story, by the way, for this. But I've been talking. I have an amazing wife. She's very, very supportive. She's absolutely great. And one day I was talking to my father, and I was like, "Dad, how is it possible that I'm so happy and so lucky?" He said, "What do you mean, son?" And like, I have everything that I want to have, and I have the most amazing wife in the world. He said, "Okay, if you say so." I said, "What do you mean that?" Maybe. Okay. He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Okay, tell me, why do you think that your wife is the best wife in the world?" And I said, "Because she's so supportive. She's going everywhere with me. Whatever I need, she's there. I know I can trust her for everything, and we're always together. Everywhere in the world we go together, ventures, whatever we do, I can trust her." He's, "Okay, boy, let me ask you a question." I said, "Tell me. Tell me the last 5 places where you've been together." I was like, "Okay." That was Thailand and the Caribbean islands and the Seychelles and whatever, and Zanzibar, for example. And then my father is looking in my eyes. "What that? Boy, any girl in the world would follow you with your lifestyle. What do you mean she's the best wife in the world? Any girl is going to follow you. Just pick one from the street out there and she's going to follow you." I said, "Okay, Dad, you got me. Let me try something."
Yeah.
And I pick my phone. And I just take my phone, I put it in between us, and I'm calling her. And he said, "Hey, boy, what are you doing?" I said, "I want to try something. Tell me." "I'll try something." Then she's picking up. "Hey, honey, what's up?" And she's like, "I'm at the university. You know what? Our friend, Solomon," she knows him. He's very crazy. "He just invited us for an amazing new project on the South Pole. So we go to the South Pole, only me and you. Solomon is not going to be there. Nobody's going to be there. Only me and you have to be there for 9 months, but it's going to be amazing. So we have something great to do." And then on the other side, silence. We've never been to the South Pole. My wife is pregnant in the fifth month. She's supposed to deliver the baby on the South Pole along with me. Just try to imagine. Oof. Then silence. She's, "Baby, can you hear me?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm here. But yeah, did you say the South Pole?" I said, "Yes." "And do you remember on Wednesday have an exam?" And I said, "Yes." "But I said on Thursday we go." And then she was on the other side just like, "Okay, I pack everything, we go." And my dad is like, "What?" And the most important part of this story is not only that she follows me and she's supporting me and everything, but she never asked why. Mm-hmm. She never said, "Why the heck shall I go to the South Pole and deliver my baby there, that the chance of survival is probably 1%. True. You know what is this called? It's called full trust. Yeah. And when you have somebody with you that trusts you so much, then this helps you a lot to trust yourself, because this is the most important thing, is to see that something is replicating out of your mentality, because people are reading you. True. And what I believe in is that you have to believe in yourself, never cheat on yourself first. Then the other people, they know they can trust you. The moment you can trust yourself, then the others can trust you, and then you're strong.
I love that story. Ooh. Zanzibar, tell us about Zanzibar.
I have different ventures, as you know, and one of my latest ones was in China, southern China. Yeah. I was there doing some cables business. We needed some cables for the telecoms.
So for Congo time.
Yes,
right?
For this reason we needed to have cable, copper. Then this brought me to Congo, etc., and other countries. And then all of a sudden one day I came back to Europe, and then I was like staying for just a few days, and they started talking this story about the COVID starting. Mm-hmm. And then I said to my wife, "You know what? We don't really want to be staying here during the COVID time, so let's go somewhere else." We picked the globe and we picked Zanzibar, and we said tomorrow we go to Zanzibar. Just if they lock down everything, at least we're not going to be in Europe. Mm-hmm. And then a few friends of mine came to say hi and bye. And we've been having like a dinner. And one of them said, "Hey, Kalo, I feel a little bit jealous that you're doing all these, trips, amazing place, etc." And I said, "Oh, you just join us, buddy." "But I can't, very busy." "I know how busy you are. We work together at one of the companies." And then he joined. He said, "Okay, I'm coming for a week." Then I looked at the other guy. The other guy, my coach, my personal trainer, other guys. And I said, "Everybody." And they said, "Yes, we're coming for a week." On the next morning, for 1 week. The first people came back home after 6 months. Shit. Because they locked down everything. Exactly. They stopped the flights. And this is how the journey in Zanzibar began. So essentially, we could go back after 3 months because Zanzibar has never been locked down. But they stopped the flights. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing to go back with. And then 3 months later we could, but we knew that the whole world is getting crazy with this COVID. I mean, like all these restrictions, and we didn't want it to go anywhere. Then we managed to find a place on one of the most beautiful beaches there, which is all about sports, active lifestyle, etc. Because it's all the clubs are there, the sports are there. In this kite surfing, which is the core for everything, is there. And we said we want to be holding a piece of paradise. And this is how we managed to take over the first piece of land there, which was very lucky, just because, you know, by that time people didn't, before that nobody was selling there. Yeah. But then because of the COVID, they were afraid. They decided that we're gonna make a deal. So this is how we took over the first place, and then we built a resort called the Nest Boutique Resort. Wow. And this one was supposed to be just, you know, for fun. This is how we built it. We didn't use any architects or anything. We just did the design for ourselves, just to have fun. And this appeared to be, because the style is eco, natural, but artistic, very artistic, not just natural. People love that. So they call it currently the African Tulum. It's very much Tulum style. But it's combined between different.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what they call it in many places. So people love this style now, and this became a very big success. And because the prices grew up like 500-600% based on the initial planning. We planned something, and then we're selling now 5-6 times more expensive, just because of the demand. Yeah. And this made us make a second one, second resort on the same beach, and currently it's operating, both of them. And because a lot of people are coming and they love the lifestyle we have there, all about sports and these things.
Tell us a little bit, the audience, about the lifestyle in your resorts looks like what?
Oh, maybe you try to imagine how a day is passing there. So it's days from 6 to 6, it's 12 hours. Okay. And when you wake up in the morning, it's like 6 o'clock. This is when I wake up normally in the morning. I have my routine walk or run on the beach, like until 7, and then from 7 I go to the gym. We have the biggest and most professional gym in all of Tanzania, in Zanzibar, etc. And then from the gym at 8:30 or something, we go straight with the horses. We have beautiful Frisian horses we can show to the people. They're really amazing creatures. We're running with the horse and we go straight in the ocean. Sometimes we go 2 kilometers inside the ocean. We cook the horses, washing them, etc. It's really beautiful. And then before noon is only time for me. We do kite surfing with my friends, we do surfing with my friends, or any kind of sports. And then in the afternoon I'm working. And guess what, actually, there is a lot of time. There is plenty of time for everything. Because when you say this, some of my friends, they say, you know, Kalo, if you are actually, you know, if you are training and doing so much things for yourself like this, then
how do you find time for work?
Yeah, but we have 24 hours. Exactly. Minus 8 sleeping, we have 16.
True.
And with this, it is 16 hours, about 6 hours I'm actually dedicating to myself, different sports, and I still have another 10 hours to work. What I mean is that it's all about focus.
True.
If we're focusing on the things which are important for us, then we can perform. This is, for example, one way. This may be too long, but when I was thinking about the focus, I came out with something that I call the 7 components of happiness of Kalo. Yeah. It's not the most important thing in this conversation, but
no, I would actually want you to drill it to the people, because it's interesting when I went through it.
Yeah. You know, I did this, by the way, for one main reason. I was thinking about the universe and people, etc., and about ourselves and what we have to do to be the right people, like happy on one side and the other side doing the best for the community and everything. We've been all probably around this. But then I figured out for myself that everything around us is so big and so complex that we can't understand the complexity of the world with this tiny piece of brain that we have in this skull.
True.
And the only way to realize if we're doing something proper or not is like just to feel it inside yourself. If you close your eyes, for example, you try to, you can feel as if you're doing the right things, and you really feel good under your skin. And this is called simply happiness, because if you really close your eyes and you feel that you're in balance and in harmony, then most probably it's not only that you're doing the best for yourself, but you're doing the best for the absolute, the best for the community, society, the nature and everything. Because if you're doing a harm, some sort of harm, you're never in harmony. So in this respect, I said, okay, but if I focus on myself and my happiness, and I assume that this is the core, then what makes Kalo happy? The section of the happiness of Kalo. And then I just said there are 7 things for me which are the most important to me. And the reason that I need to know about them is to be sure that I'm dedicating time to each one of those. Because you can't be happy if you're not dedicating the time to the things that makes your happiness. And to me, I started talking about this because the focus, what I'm saying is focus, focus, focus. Focus is not focus on business. It's just for focus on one single piece. It is focus on everything that makes you happy. So I would rather say that 99% of my time is going in these 7 things. I'm nearly not spending any time on anything else. And if you do something like this, there is a good chance that you're going to make it. For example, I see that you're very healthy and fit. Many people say health is important for me or family is important for me, but I don't have the time for it.
True.
There is never time for it. But this means it's not important for you. You have 24 hours, same as I do. So what is important is to make sure that you are dedicating the time to the things that are important for you. And it's like a wheel, This wheel is having these 7 sticks of the wheel. And they have to be all equal. They have to be all working perfectly fine. This means that all of these things that make you happy, you have to dedicate time to it. For example, if your family is important for you, you have to dedicate time to your family. I never say I don't have time for my daughter or my wife. I always do have time for them. It's important to me. For my health, I always do have time for it. Then I have these seven components.
What are they? In a quick way, what are these?
The
Kalo 7.
These are personal. I think that I can share, of course, I will share. But the most important is that they can be different for everybody. What is important is that you understand your own and then you dedicate your time to it. For me, this is family and friends. I always dedicate time to this. Then this is sports and health in general. What is health? Health is eating and moving. You just have to be moving and eating properly. It's not very complex, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, another thing for me is business in terms of money. I believe for myself I can't be really happy unless I have money, because without money for me is energy. It's the energy for moving stuff, realizing dreams, just doing things. This is the power. Without the power, you can't really feel great. Then another thing is professionalism. Professionalism is not exactly business. This is because sometimes you can be very rich because you inherited, let's say, money from someone. But when you're a good professional, for example, drawer or anything, it cannot be about the money always. Then you're feeling like, fulfilled in a way. You're talking to others. You see that people respect you. You respect yourself because you're good, right, in what you're doing. So these 2 things are coming together very often, money and professionalism, but not always, not necessarily always. So to me, these 2 things are, I'm developing separately. So I'm just putting time for both. Then another thing that I call for myself travel and adventure, because this is actually giving me a lot of adrenaline, a lot of power again and energy. Yes. I always put time on this as well, just to go somewhere to do something. Then I have number 6 is my legacy. So this is what I do because I believe in it. And it's not because I do it because of the money. So legacy in this respect to me is education and helping for educational projects, not necessarily traditional ones. I've been involved in many different schooling projects, but not only. And even what we do with you now. So sometimes helps for some people. And currently in the village in Zanzibar, which I'm planning, is there is also a school that we're planning to build under a very innovative system. With maybe some people, they know about the Bali Green University, Green School actually. Something like this, we are planning to do it together. These are Americans there, and we're planning to do something like this in Zanzibar.
We'll speak about the village after this right away, because we want to get all the details about the village in Zanzibar. But tell me the 7th one.
The 7th one is about my personal harmony and balance, so my philosophy. So I'm reading a lot about different religions and about different philosophies so that I can clear my mind and be strong in what I believe in. Because you need to have clarity in your mind so that you firmly believe in whatever you believe and you follow. Because when you follow, you trust yourself that you can, and everybody can trust you.
Kalo, I love them. And I have a question, because a lot of people watching us will have the same question in their mind. Now Kalo built himself, super successful. So he can sit now and put these 7 things for happiness. Was it always like this all your life?
No, it's not always been like this. All these things are developing with the time.
True.
Honestly,
And I'm very happy that you said and you're honest with it, because a lot of people say like, I've been always like this. Of course it's hard.
no, of course it's really hard. Everything is coming with the time, one by one, piece by piece. I was lucky in the beginning that I was good in sports, and sport gave me a lot. And my family was supporting me a lot. They were giving me like instructions for everything, and sport gave me a lot of confidence. Because when you get the confidence, then you start developing your components of happiness or anything. But you know that you can trust yourself. You're not like afraid, because you're afraid. You know, it's you're weak.
True.
You can't be strong if you're weak.
True, 100%. I love your honesty. Kali, you mentioned the village. Your project always have big names. And,
Yeah.
and aviation, airline, and then a village in Zanzibar. Tell us about it.
Yeah, you know, the village to me is a way to, to follow my dream about building a community there. Because, we more or less, we build everything. We have the best sports center. We have so beautiful place with all the family and everything. But what we want to have there is a smart community of people, which is going to be the main driver for success for us and around us. And something that is giving you just the pleasure. Once you go to the beach, let's say, with anyone like you, for example, sitting there on one nice sofa with a coffee, and then you have a good time with your neighbors, call it like this, on this beautiful island. And this is how this idea with the village came, because people also, on one side, they're very interested because of return on investment, because of the lifestyle and everything. And this is how the idea came. And when speaking about this, it's, the village came with as an idea after the resorts, once again, because of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And on the other side, return on investment. Return on investment in the area, it's tremendous because of the very long season. It's like 360 days a year. And pricing is very high for stays, for sleepovers. It's very high because of the demand is higher than the supply now. I mean, just not enough interesting proposals and a lot of people coming, I remember that when we were kids, maybe similar age, the population of the world used to be 4 billion people, and now we're 8 billion people, 2 times more, but we are traveling 20 times more often. And many of these people are going either for cultural tourism, or they go for tropical destinations. So this is actually very, very significant. And that's why we see that this is driving the prices so high on these small islands.
But the village, if we talk about the village, what's going to consist of? How does the village will look like? Like cabanas, villas, like school you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, the village is consisting out of nearly 200 different small plots. And of course, that's going to be less than 200 villas because people can combine plots and make let's say, one villa on 2 or 3 or more plots. So we are expecting to have maybe about 100 villas in phase 1, phase 1 and 2, because we're preparing phase 3 after that to grow bigger. And the main idea is that most of these cabanas or villas are going to be small, like surf style, because this is what people mainly need there.
I love the style that you showed me.
Yeah. Maybe we can show to the people, on the screen.
True.
But basically, the idea is that we are building these small type of villas or bigger for families, which are, I can tell you even the prices. The price range is like in between $40,000-$50,000, which is the cheapest one, up to $200,000-$400,000, which are the very already bigger villas and more, how to say, serious
It's pretty
villas.
reasonable, actually.
Yes.
Pretty reasonable.
And then, of course, we have these super luxury tropical type of villas, which are over $500,000 to the millions.
Yeah.
So basically, the idea is that everybody can be designing his own villa together with our architects. So the way you buy, for example, is that you make your reservation, which costs only $1,000, and then you start working with the team. They're giving you the contracts, etc. Then you pay for first of all, you pay 50% of your plot. Let's assume that your plot is $100,000, for example. Then you pay 50. Then you have 6 months to develop your perfect villa, so whatever you imagine, with our architects. Once you develop it, you know how big it is, how expensive it is. It could be anything you do because they're just advising you. And then within 6 months period of time, you have to pay the balance and for the land, and then you start paying on installments for the villa itself. Yeah, the villas more or less they vary in between 50,000 to let's say 1 million, more or less, something like
Depends
this.
on how you're doing it.
Everything in between. The most profitable villas are the cheapest ones.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
because they're selling the best.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, I would recommend them, by the way, because it's also my style.
But how, like, if you give a rough number for people listening to us, so the plot is like 50,000, for example, and building a reasonable villa on it. So how much is going to cost?
Well,
It depends,
especially
but roughly, so people can have an idea.
sitting in Dubai, I don't know how to define reasonable.
Actually, you're correct.
Yeah. Well, I would say a nice surf style villa could be in the range of about $100,000, more or less, from 50 to
Okay.
150. And then a nice villa, which is maybe we can show them behind the
we
screen.
will, yeah, we
So let's say type 1 we can show now is 50 to 150.
Okay.
Then type 2, which we're going to show like several examples, it's from 200 to 400,000. And then type 3 is already over $500,000, but these are very
Super,
expensive
yeah.
type of developments. Yeah. So basically, these are the different types.
Wow. You said something interesting, that there is two types. You said there is a return on investment. What do you mean? Like, I'm going to buy a villa. Now I bought it. And what do you mean by return on investment?
Well, there are two type of people. Let's say about 20 to 25% of the people are buying to live there because we have a lot of expats there. So these people are only paying for maintenance, like in any complex,
True.
and that's it. And they are living there. But about 70-75% of the people are buying to get
Holiday
this return
homes,
on
kind of,
investment.
or holiday homes type.
Yeah, holiday home, go for 1, 2, 3 months a year, getting fit physically, emotionally, in any respect, and then go back home until the next year when you
True.
have to
Yeah,
come back.
the cycle.
But in between, during this period of time, you want to make money. So the way it works, you handle the keys to the reception of the hotels because the village is in between the hotels. And then the hotel management is taking care of your villa, renting it out and doing everything for you. So the way it works is that, let me give you an example, for example. Imagine you invest into a villa which is $100,000. This villa, we wouldn't rent for under $200 per day. So people can make their calculation. Then you take these $200 per day and you multiply by 365 days. Then you multiply by 75%, which is the average occupancy rate that we do, considering we don't have seasons there, no seasonality. Then you multiply by about 40%, which remains for you. You have about 60% of expenses when we are managing the
Operation
villa.
cost.
Yes. For example, Booking.com is charging you 20.
True.
Only 20 is only there. Then is the management. Then is another 10 is taxes. And another 20 is everything else, which is like managing like a 5-star resort. So what remains for you is about 29,000 something, with 21, 22,000, which is like 21 or 22% based on 100.
True.
Which is considered one of the highest in the world in this respect. It's really kind of impossible to do something like this almost anywhere in the world. For our listeners, in Europe, the average return on investment is like 3.5% on the capital. Dubai is one of the best in the world with 7 to 9%, which is average. I know that some people are going to say here, I'm doing 12. Yes, because some people are really smart and doing better. But I speak about the average is 7 to 9. And then we can do average at our place is over 15 and we can do over 20 just because we have amazing location, we have a lot of experience.
Kalo, if people listening to us now said like, I love the idea, it's an amazing project and I want to be in, but I have a little bit of financial difficulty. Is there any financial facilities that you offer?
That's a really good question because the answer is supposed to be no. Because if you decide to buy to a tropical island somewhere, the local banks are not going to finance you and your banks here are not going to finance you. Yeah. But believe it or not, we have this. Just about 10 days ago, we've been approached by an American financial institution, non-banking financial institution. And these guys proposed that they want to start financing in Zanzibar. We're going to be the first project for themselves.
Oof.
And they propose they can be financing our customers as a regular bank. So, for example, LTV, loan to value, would be 70%.
Wow.
So you invest, let's say, 30%, and 70% is going to come from these guys.
Wow.
And then you have interest rates and payment terms,
The
etc.
normal
which is
banking
yes,
kind of mortgage
yes,
stuff.
kind of the same. Yes, it's American institution. So let's say people from Dubai would easily qualify for these Americans. They just have to send some documents, etc., and the traditional stuff like regular bank.
That's very important and very interesting for people to know, because a lot of people buy real estate, on plans. Very well,
Yes.
very well done. Kalo, you said also something very interesting to me. Like, that's people who are buying the house, buying the villa. There is other type of people that can invest in a kind of fractional type of vehicle. A fractional, no, I'm not able to pay $100K. I can pay $2,000.
Yeah.
Do you have a vehicle for them?
Well, we do. If you go to the website, which is Ankaya.Villas, there is a button there called fractional. So on the fractional, people can click and they can buy for anything over from $100 over. So you can literally invest very small amount.
Wow.
And how is that structured? So in this way, you're buying into a company where we actually put into this company a part of the villas, valued $25 million. So when you buy into this vehicle, this is a Swiss company in Switzerland, then you are having a share into this Swiss company. What is very interesting is that it's very liquid, because Switzerland currently is the first country in the world which promoted and is already having regulation for tokenized shares of a company.
True.
The IFC is working on this, by the way, here, and very soon they're probably going to have it, but Switzerland is already there and they already have it. So what is nice about this is that you buy, for example, say for $1,000. Say, for example, that after 1 month you need 500 of this money. And then what is amazing is that you can sell it right away, because these companies are listed immediately on an exchange.
Oof.
Because this is the idea.
Exactly.
They're
Liquidity.
tokenized, they go
Yeah.
straight on the exchange. And the tokens are directly related to the company shares according to the regulation. And the regulator is accepting it. So you can go and claim it, you can claim your dividends, etc. with the tokens, which is amazing. This is the first in the world like this.
Very interesting, yeah. Because for the people who don't know the concept of fraction, the idea of fraction, like everywhere, it's very hard to liquidate your part. By having this kind of token, it's
Yes.
on the stocks right away, you're easily liquidate. So it's an amazing benefit.
And let me give you, when you say benefits, what are the benefits out of this? First of all, you can invest as much as you like, from $100 over. The second thing, you have immediate liquidation option. So you can actually sell it straight away whenever you like. The next thing is that we guarantee 10% return on investment for the first 2 years of the investment to everybody who invests whatever amount of money. We do this for the period of construction, more or less, and then after that we are expecting higher returns. So, but it's 10% is guaranteed by us
For
with
2
our
years.
hotels, etc., for the first 2 years. And then another perk that you're getting is that you're gonna get a special link which makes you a member of our club, and then you can be using the resort at very special VIP conditional, big discounts, etc. But you can also be sending your friends.
Wow.
If you're sending your friends, they only have to come and say, I'm a friend of Seif, he's sending me, then you are going to be treated as a king, your friend,
Wow.
because you are the owner, even though you have invested probably just $100. Yeah, but you are going to be special. And then your friend is going to get a very good discount of 10%, and then you are going to get 10% cash back on whatever he spends, and they usually spend about $10,000, so you can easily make
That's a very
$1,000.
nice one. A very nice one.
And I can explain why, because you would say, how does that work?
Yeah.
The reason is that we pay anyway to Booking.com 20%. We just split in between you and your friend.
True.
And this is the reason why we prefer to build our huge community, because we want to have a lot of people as a community, because all these people are advertising the place, they talk about the place, they take it as their own. And being together, we can build the next projects, because actually we just make a community which is going after these tropical islands, because we have more projects to come. So a part of these links, we have another perk that we have. So we are closing the round at $25 million. This is the capital of the houses which are going to be in this company. So once we reach this $25 million, just to celebrate it, we are going to make as a giveaway one complete house for $500,000 based on a tombola.
Wow.
In between the people.
So whoever is a member has the
Whoever.
chance to win a house
Yes.
and a villa.
Try to imagine, then you can buy for 100 or several hundred or whatever money. Then you get immediate liquidation option. Then you get 10% return, which is guaranteed. And then you get these links, which you cannot be using to generate more money and sending friends or going yourself. And then you can participate for the tombola, which is a full house, which is $500,000.
True.
So we make it really great for the people, and on the other side, it's honestly great for us too, because instead we don't pay for this. Actually, Booking.com pays.
Exactly. But Kalo, an interesting thing I want you to highlight. We've talked about how amazing is the project, but why Zanzibar then?
You know, Zanzibar is considered one of the most booming locations in the world. It is compared to the Seychelles, Maldives, and Mauritius, but the first three are very, very developed already. Return on investment there is less than 5% already, just because when you are buying a house that is generating $1,000, few $1,000s per night on the Seychelles or Maldives, this house usually costs a few $1 million. And this very same house with us would cost a few $100,000. So this is how it makes difference, just because Zanzibar is the new baby that is coming, the new kid on the block, as they call it.
It's happening.
Yes, Seychelles, Maldives, Mauritius, and Zanzibar are the four places in the Indian Ocean that are actually the most developed tropical paradises. But Zanzibar is the one that is coming now. So it's the right time to invest in this place. But this is coming with another strategy of the government, and this is the strategy to convert Zanzibar into a financial center like Dubai for Africa. This is very interesting. We can show to the people behind us what is coming as development projects, like the Domino Towers, like the Fumba Towns, etc. They are already building financial center. Actually, this is incredible idea, and I think this is going to happen. The reason is that Zanzibar is only like 5 to 10 minutes away out of continental Africa. So if I say, for example, I want to send you with your family to work for my company somewhere in Central Africa, we have to base your family somewhere.
True.
Where it's clean, green, safe, predictable. Your kids can go to school, etc. This place is called Singapore, it's called Hong Kong, it's called Dubai. But all of these places are in Asia. There is nothing like this in Africa. And this is what Zanzibar is going to be. So basically, the question for you is, would you buy Singapore or Dubai several years before they turn into this, what they are now?
And that's you think the opportunity with Zanzibar now. You're living with your family over there. So for people thinking to be part of your project, all the infrastructure is there, the schools, the healthcare system, everything is over there.
I wouldn't say it's already there. It's developing. So we have a lot of things which are coming. We have the schools, we have international British schools, etc. My daughter is going there. And in many places, not only one. Then we have hospitals, many people building. But actually, we are building it now. And this is the charming side.
Right time.
If I would say it's already there, I would say it's already too late. Yes.
Will be part of your project, I believe. I'll move a little bit further from the projects. I want to talk to you, Kalo. What is success for you?
Well, usually people are associating success to money. And I've been asked this question actually many times. To me, success is not about the money. It's mindset. And my definition for success is the ability of a person to fulfill his dreams, no matter what the dreams. Sometimes dreams are not about the money. But when you know how to fulfill the dreams, this is success. To me, money has never been the driver. Money is just coming, and I've never been sort of chasing the big money. Maybe that's why I'm not so rich, but I'm doing quite well. I'm not targeting to be a billionaire or something like this. I'm just trying to be a really happy and very balanced person with a very good family, very good healthy lifestyle, and all this kind of stuff. So to me, success is my ability to be fulfilling my dreams.
What's contributed to your success, if I asked?
Well,
your 7 ingredients of happiness, or like your perseverance, risk-taking. You really went to I would say, blue ocean countries that nobody will even dare to go there.
Understanding myself, I think that I'm quite philosophical on one side, so I'm trying to drill deeper and try to understand myself, because to be successful from this perspective means your ability to fulfill your dreams. But to fulfill your dreams, you need to know your dreams. You need to make a dissection of your happiness. You need to know what you're searching for. Because you know what? For many people around me, I've seen that they are just sliding down the hill into a direction which somebody else is taking them. You don't follow your dreams. You follow the dreams of others. And this is the thing that I see very much around me. So, turning into yourself and trying to understand yourself is something that really, really helps. And I'm kind of, happy that I had this family that was very much into that. We've been talking and talking many hours, and then I realized that this is very, very essential.
True.
But not only philosophical, because sometimes people are just talking,
Yes,
but they don't understand why. Main
True.
question is like, why do I need to know, and what am I gonna do now?
100%. Got a question for tips for people. A lot of people now, they're thinking to travel abroad, leave their country and work in different countries. You're a type of person that you really went to different countries like Congo, Zanzibar, China.
In the rest of the world.
And I mean, like working and doing things in a very tough environment. It's not you're not going to Dubai. You
Yeah.
understand? Like, so for an advice from you to people going to such places, once they hit the ground in these places, what they should do? We had an example of a friend of us hitting the ground somewhere. When you're not knowing what to do, you get messed up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So for people like him,
Yes.
what they need to do?
Well, one thing is that you have to be once again brave and analytical. So you have to be really well prepared and very open-minded. What I have seen is that, especially for successful people, successful in business and in their lives, very often you close up your mind. The reason, you already have your model, and your model works, but your model works in your environment.
True.
The moment you change the environment, the model is different. So you have to be learning from scratch from the beginning. This mindset of open thinking, it's one of the most important things. You have to have your principles on one side, but be very open on the other side, like for the local reality and how to match there. And what is very important, how to enjoy. Because what I've seen with my trips is that when you go to a place and you're afraid or you don't feel comfortable, the local people, they can feel it immediately.
True.
So you have to enjoy. And you really have to enjoy. You don't have to be afraid. But you have to be smart. Smart and enjoy. And people can feel it.
100%.
Then actually it works. But never be arrogant. For example, when you go to a new place and you are a successful businessman, let's say at your place, very often you're going very arrogant. You say, like, this is underdeveloped place. I'm going to make it my way. I'm going to teach these guys how to do it. They have no idea. I'm going to change it all. So many times this screws up. I have, again, a case very, very similar to this one with some people coming to Zanzibar. They said, no, I'm not going to make it an African way. This is going to be a Swiss way. I'm going to make it like Switzerland. Guess what? 3 months later, they're screaming and running away. You can't make Africa and Zanzibar the Swiss way. It's not Switzerland.
100%. 100%. Kalo, anybody can be an entrepreneur, or it requires a specific DNA?
With the risk that I can actually disappoint some people, I would say it's not for everybody.
Love it. Why?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Because I think, it's what is important for ourselves, again, is to understand ourselves, our needs, to look at ourselves and our minds and our happiness, etc., and understand what we have to do to be happy. Being an entrepreneur is something that is like being, again, like a leader. You say alpha talks, etc. If everybody is a leader or an alpha, this world wouldn't work.
Oof.
And it's not that.
Wait. You have the same way I say it. Like, if everybody's an entrepreneur, the company should close.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. So, and this doesn't mean that something is better or worse. It just means that people have to understand themselves and what makes them happy. Because entrepreneurs are taking a lot of risks, many times going out of the zone of control, or maybe out of comfort zone. And like, to me, this is giving me wings. I feel a lot of energy. This is like something great to me.
Yeah, you thrive in it.
90% of the people, I would say, they feel uncomfortable because they want to be home. They want to know what is coming. Like being predictable. As you know, that this is the most important, even for most of the businesses. Predictable environment. This is what the governments are supposed to do. Yes, and then for this same reason, it's not for everyone. I don't mean that entrepreneurs are more smart or anything like this. They just have some characteristics which are different. Yeah. And we have to understand ourselves, because I've been talking to many seminars and a lot of public speaking, etc., like motivational speaking, etc. And I understand that it's absolutely very, very risky to be talking to the people that just go follow me, do it this way. Come on, Less than 1% of the people make it.
True.
Like this. Like in most of the cases, this is just not for everyone.
True.
So you have to be really honest with yourself and try to understand if that's your way, because traditionally it isn't for everyone.
True, true. Kalo, we are in the Alpha Talks show, which is part of the Alpha movement. If I ask you what's an alpha for you, how do you define an alpha?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So, alpha, there is a definition for this that I don't really remember so well.
No, your vision of, like, your
Yes.
perception of an alpha.
Yeah, my perception of an alpha is just a leader. So being a leader is a really, really important thing when you are supposed to be one. What I mean is the following. For example, I'm following one principle which isn't mine. It's for one famous guy who is saying, how are you picking your people? And I usually say, I'm searching for people which are very intelligent, very energetic, and the most important, very loyal. But you know what? Very intelligent person, if you see him here, you're going to see. It's very easy to see if he's intelligent. This, you need 5 minutes, and you know it. Can you recognize a very energetic guy, let's say on an interview? Of course you can.
Yeah.
It's obvious. I mean, energetic guys are full of energy. You can see it easily. The hardest thing is to guess if he's loyal. And guess what? If you get at work, for example, who is very energetic and very ambitious and very intelligent, but he's not loyal, then you are gone. You're busted.
True.
And then I ask myself, then what about loyalty? What is actually loyalty? And the way I answer to myself is, loyalty is the ability of a person to go against his own interest for another cause. Because if I pay you for something and you do the job, whatever the job I'm asking for you, and you do it for the money, then you're doing this for your interest, right? But to call you loyal, I would give you something that is not in your interest. You have to go against your interest. For what reason? This is not natural for you. For anyone, this is not normal. We are going for our interest, all the people, whatever the interest, right? So what I figured out is that people are going after a cause and a leader. This is why I'm coming to the leadership. So if you see that your people are not loyal, this means that there is something wrong with you.
True.
Because if you're the proper leader that is motivating and inspiring the people, and if you have the vision, and if you have, let's say, the cause that everybody's working for, then your people are loyal. If you cannot lead your people, then don't expect them to be loyal. They just work for themselves.
True.
They work for the salary, and that's it. So this is how I imagine leadership. You can see it just looking at your team, and then you can recognize if you're a good leader.
You know, that's the longest explanation of an alpha, which is 100% correct. It's leadership, but it's sometimes, or I like to put it in a way, that a person who's obsessed getting his goals or dreams as well.
Right.
And of course, to get your goals and dreams, you need a team to drive you through it. Kalo, we have a quick fire question section in this podcast.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Ready? So, what is the most adventurous thing you've ever done in pursuit of for a business opportunity?
Going to the eastern side of DRC Congo with the border of Rwanda and Southern Sudan during the war, and I was having my small army there surviving. It was actually so crazy that I ended up as commandos.
Yeah,
I actually I trained myself for
Yeah.
commandos in the International Commandos Academy to survive.
No way. How long you stayed there, actually?
Maybe 6 months.
Oh my God.
There is no government there, nothing there. It's
True.
actually
Militias.
very click. Absolutely, yes. Crazy place.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self starting out in business?
Well, I did have some fears in the beginning, and I did some things out of fear. So I would actually advise myself to open my heart, believe more in myself faster, and then do things out of love since the very beginning. Because I did have my fears in the beginning when I was younger, and I did have this, I didn't have the self-confidence. Sometimes I go, let's say, to somebody super famous or whatever, and then I know, like, I'm so shy. I don't know what to say.
Sure.
I didn't feel like comfortable, and I know that I lost years like this. But actually, this is just the way normally everybody's developing himself.
If I ask you your favorite book, what's gonna be?
My favorite book.
Yeah. that influenced you, of course?
Well, that's a very good question. There's so many different books. One that was very interesting to me is it's not a business book or anything. Do you know Taipan?
Taipan, no.
It's a very interesting book. I would recommend it. Like people can see, it's one guy that is thinking very much out of the box.
Taipan.
Yes, Taipan.
How do you stay motivated?
You know, to me, to stay motivated, one of the most important things is my energy and maintaining my energy and my family. So my family is my love. My energy is everything because this is the way actually I'm maintaining everything. So the most important things to me is my training sessions, my everything that I'm doing about myself, and all the time for my family. I'm very much family man, so I never cheat my wife. And I, to me, this is absolutely essential. I mean, it's family. I'm really
Number one.
so much married, like
I
to
love
my
that.
wife and to my daughters.
You had different ventures. So if I want to let you summarize your business approach in one word, what would be this word? I'm picking your brains.
Yeah, in one word.
Yeah. Different ventures, different industries.
Well, it's hard to say it in one word,
Two.
but it's let's say go again. I would say the same: go brave, go analytical. Go brave, go analytical, because you have to be really brave to go in different parts of the world, different domains, different business ventures, but you have to be smart at the same time. Just because I see that some people are really crazy.
Just go nonsense and hit the wall.
Yes.
What's the best piece of advice you've received from anybody or a mentor?
Oh, the best piece of advice. Well, I heard many years ago from a friend of mine that it's never enough,
True.
and it's whatever you do, it's never enough, and you just focus on the next achievement, and this is the way to be happy. Because by that time I was like, I need to have this much money and this much of this, and then I don't do anything more, and I'm just gonna go get retired. And this friend of mine, he said, Kalo, knowing you and knowing these kind of personalities, it's never enough. Just set your goals, your next goals, and this is how you're going to be living a happy life, happy and long life. I'm really I believe in actually the abilities of people to be living happy and long life if they are, believing in themselves and following their dreams.
If you could teach children one lesson, what lesson will be?
Well, again, the same. Do things out of love, not out of fear. This is what I'm saying to my daughter all the time. And because, most of the cases we do out of fear. And to do this, again, you have to be brave and analytical. And this is what we do. This is like a mantra for us. Do things out of love. To do this, you have to be brave and analytical. To be brave and analytical, you have to believe in yourself. To believe in yourself, you have to develop the best skills that you have up to perfection, because this is how you learn how to believe in yourself. True. And this is what she's doing now. She's very young, and the things which she's best at, we are investing as much time as possible so that we help her to develop this, and she can feel the feeling of being successful. Then everything is coming. True. With the time.
True. Kalo, what is something that somebody has told you that has hurt you and you've never forgotten?
I'm not very touchy. Actually, I don't really have something like this. Maybe I don't want to have anything like this. It's not that this didn't happen. Of course, it happened many times. It happens in the life of everyone. But what I believe in is that we never have to, take this too deep or too personal for one main reason. Just because we can understand others. When somebody does something against you, whether he's right or wrong, there is one thing for sure. He's doing the best he can. If you understand that he's doing the best he can with the brain he has, with the ability he has, like physics he has, and the history he has, family and everything, you could be sure that people are doing the best they can in general. And the moment you understand, even this is really wrong against you, maybe against your family or something, could be really personal.
True.
This doesn't mean don't react. I do react. I punish people whenever this is necessary, but I don't take it personally. You know why? Because I'm sure that he couldn't do any better. Just because maybe he's that smart. This is his way. He doesn't know another way. He just, in this situation, he couldn't react in a different way. Being really wrong, I might be in a position that I have to punish this guy for whatever. Maybe I'm in a position to do it and I will do it, just like a lesson. But I don't take it personally. This is not something that I'm going to be carrying with me forever. Just because I understand this is the level of this guy. This is what he can do.
True.
I can't be angry at this, and I don't carry it with me.
I want to go into an interesting part. You promised the Alpha Talks audience with a gift. What is this gift?
Well, I have something really special for you.
What is it? Everybody's waiting.
You know, we already mentioned that we just opened the sale of the village.
Yeah.
And what we'll do, especially for your audience now, is that in the first 24 hours after the show is already on, the people that invest in the tokenized sale, which is the fractional sale, whatever they invest, we are going to double the investment for the first 100
Say
people.
It again.
Just
First 100 people, 24 hours, who's going to invest in the token,
Yes.
whatever the amount is, you're going to double it.
Yeah, just let me remind them, this is not just a token, any token. This is actually a fractional sale of a Swiss company that owns assets. And these are houses behind, which are generating 10% of fixed return. So now try to imagine that we double this. So the moment we double this, we double actually the size of the return on investment.
True.
And everything around that. So we do this only for the first 100 people that are going to come and invest in the first 24 hours.
Let it
after
be
our talk.
48 hours as a gift to Seif. 48 hours, so we have the people ready to do it.
36? It's okay. It's deal for you.
Done.
Because of it's 48 hours.
Done. So the first 100 people that will invest in the token for the first 48 hours, their investment, the capital investment, will be doubled. I think that's an opportunity that nobody should miss.
Yeah, we really want to have this community and we want to have the people happy and we want to do it for you and your audience.
I appreciate it. It's a great one, and I believe a lot of people will want to be part of the great project, first of all, that you have. It's out of the bloom. And of course, I'll be part of it as well. So I'll be seeing you in Zanzibar.
Absolutely. You're always welcome.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Kalo, what will be your last message that you want to leave the audience with today?
Well, just, I would say, follow your dreams. Don't follow the money. The money's coming. Follow your dreams. Dream big. Turn it into business planning. Turn your dreams into plans and your plans into reality. There is easy steps on the way you can make this.
I love that. Because a lot of people have just dreams. They just speak.
Yeah.
But when they turn it into a paper and pen plan, it doesn't exist.
For most of the people, dreams is something that shall stay as a dream. Yeah.
True. Kalo, we have a ritual in the Alpha Talks. It's called the Alpha Talks Memoir.
Yeah.
So the Alpha Talks Memoir, the Alpha guest has to do a couple of things. Number one is to write their experience in the show once we finish recording. And the second thing is to answer a question that the previous Alpha guest wrote. You don't know, but it's a way of us in the show that communicates the Alpha guest together. So you'll be writing a question as well to the next Alpha guest. So are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Answer the question. How do you advise the audience in finding their purpose?
In finding their purpose. This is actually something very deep because it's very different for everyone. And that's a very interesting question, yes. Because in many cases, many people are born with their purpose. They just know it. But in many other cases, which is majority of the cases, it isn't the case. And I think people should be testing themselves and try to be open-minded. Be open-minded, test yourself, try many different things, be brave, be open in general. Because if you do a lot of things and you're open, you're going to feel what is yours. And not necessarily this is related, once again, about money or something traditional. Whatever it is, just be open and test many things. And this is what we do usually with the kids.
Sure.
Because we just give them the chance to try a lot of things and
Even
they
in
find
sports,
themselves.
try football, try tennis, try volleyball, try until you fit.
Yes.
I love the answer because that's the best way of finding a purpose is to try, be open to trials.
Yes.
You lose nothing by trying. Kalo, it's a pleasure having you today on the show. I really enjoyed it, and I believe everybody watching us will enjoy it, and they will enjoy the gift as well.
Thanks, Seif. Thanks for inviting me.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That wraps another inspiring episode of today's show. I hope that this episode has ignited your inner alpha and left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Remember, alphas aren't born, they're made. It isn't about dominating others, it's about embracing your authenticity, leading with integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the Alpha Talks on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your fellow alphas. Also connect with us on social media at Seif El Hakim. Share your thoughts, insight, and stories of personal and business growth with us. Let's create a movement of alphas supporting one another. The world needs more alphas like you exactly. Until next time, stay bold, stay driven, and stay alpha.